Yeah, good evening, everyone. So, we'll continue our discussion. See the first question. The frequency of urban floods due to high intensity rainfall is increasing over the years. Discuss the reasons for urban floods. Highlight the mechanisms for preparedness to reduce the risk during such events. So, very pertinent question, which is something which is ongoing issue. Okay, just see it and give the framework. Take 5 minutes and answer it. Yeah, so most of you have given the framework rightly. Okay, so what will you write for this particular question? The frequency of urban floods due to high intensity rainfall due to high intensity rainfall is increasing over the years. So that is a statement and it's true. Discussing the reasons for floods. So first you need to give the reasons for urban floods, and then what are the mechanisms for the preparedness, that means solutions to reduce the risk during such events. So basically you can divide this answer into the reasons, mechanisms for preparedness, and then mechanisms for preventions also. Though the answer is not asking you directly about preventions, but now you can see the urban floods are a very common feature, be it Chennai, Hyderabad, Mumbai, all these are categorized as urban floods. And then because of the rapid urbanization, which is happening for last half a decade, and then which is going to continue for next 2 or 3 decades, where the significant amount of population is going to move into the cities, the management of urban floods becomes very important. So first, you can mention in the introduction that the recent Hyderabad floods or Chennai floods have again exposed the threat of urban flooding and its impact on the livelihood and the sustainability of the modern cities. Then come to the reasons for the urban floods. What will be the reasons of urban floods? The primary reason is the choking of the drainage systems. Choking of the drainage systems. Non-availability of storm water drainage. Then haphazard development. Construction, encroachment of the water bodies and construction in the full tank level. Okay, and then clogging and choking the drainage systems. What else are the important reasons? Exponential increase in the population, heavy rains, cloudburst. Cloudburst is one of the reasons for urban floods. Then, so these are some of the important aspects which are related to the reasons for urban floods. Okay, then maybe you can even mention the cloudburst or the climate change. Okay, all these are the important reasons. Okay, you can write even the lack of solid waste management. All these are important reasons for the urban floods. So now what are the measures to prevent or to have preparedness during such events? How do you prepare for urban floods? Evacuation of the low-lying area people, having proper emergency warning systems in place, having proper drainage systems, And these are the important aspects for preparedness during the such events. And then ensuring that the water reservoirs are properly managed and the water is discharged at the appropriate time. Like what happened with the Usman Sagar and Himayat Sagar. So water has to be discharged in a planned level so that the people are not impacted by the discharge of water. So these are the preparedness. So what are the solutions or the preventive measures so that the urban floods do not occur? So what are the solutions? The first is the having proper maintenance of the drainage systems, having storm water drains in place, channelizing the nalas properly, integrating the nala systems, having not choking the natural drainage of the water bodies, especially the full tank levels. The construction should not be allowed in the full tank levels. The natural drainage for those water bodies should be free. Then only rainwater will go into that. If you are blocking the rainwater with your home, then your home will be flooded. Okay, and then there should be a proper disaster management force in the cities to tackle such issues. Like the trees are falling down, current poles are falling down, or wires are short circuited. So disaster management force should be in place. Okay, early warning should be given to the people in the low-lying areas. And then using the help of satellites and drones to understand the situation in the hourly way and then tackle the system. And always have proper backups in the way of where people can be relocated. So having shelters for the relocation of people and also providing them basic amenities. So you can categorize in preventive way as well as managing. So managing can be this administration of people, food to people in low-lying areas, moving them to the high-lying areas. This is how you manage the disaster. How do you prevent the disaster? By proper planning, using technology, improving the drainage system, having proper nala system, and constructing proper bunds to the lake so that they don't overflow. All these are the preventive measures. And then you can conclude saying that, so this particular urban floods has recently become a very big issue because of the climate change and the frequency at which it is happening. As the way forward is going to be the urbanization of the country, the urban cities have to be planned in a much smarter way and they have to be resilient for such flooding. The need of the hour is to integrate various drainage systems and ensure that the even small spells of rain will not choke or block the cities. So whose answers I have done yesterday? Good points. Reasons are good points. So you have categorized the handling into pre-monsoon, during monsoon, post-monsoon. Okay. So the way you have written the answer, it shows that you could not manage the space. You are writing pre-monsoon in a very elaborate way, but congesting during monsoon and post-monsoon. While you have made points, by simply your answer, by seeing the answer, I understood that you have failed to manage the space. Okay, which is not giving proper picture. So you have to plan what you want to write before and then accordingly write in the space available. Points are good, but you need to write prevention also. You are writing preparedness, under preparedness heading only you are writing disaster reduction planning, but the question is what will you do during the monsoon, and then what is the preventive measures. So I try to have different side headings, that these are the actions I will take during the disaster, before to prevent disaster, XYZ I will do, like what we spoke, and then conclude. Conclusion can be better. You can conclude in the context of growing urbanization, Sumant. Clear? Fine. See the second one. See the second question. Why are women particularly vulnerable to the impact of natural disasters? Also analyze with adequate examples how women can play a more effective role in disaster risk management cycle. Aditya, what is your doubt?
Sir, solutions ki mana preparation ki difference konjam clarify cheyara ante short term long term ana etla
Preparation kaadu. What we are saying is that we have to have, the question is preparedness to reduce risk during such events. That means basically what you are going to do to reduce the risk. So that means that is at that point of time, what are you going to do? So basically short term, preparedness is a short term, prevention is a long term. So preparedness is what? I'll try to move people from low-lying areas to high-lying areas, provide them with food, provide them with medication, have proper contingency management system, ensure that the trees which have fallen down, I'll cut them and provide electricity. This is what even the GHMC is doing. So this is preparedness. What is the prevention? Strategic Nala management system, integrating all nalas, improving the stormwater drainages, ensuring that the lakes are not encroached. These are the preventions. Understood? Fine. Go to the sixth question. Also analyze with adequate examples how women can play a more effective role in disaster risk management cycle. Yeah. Give the framework. Yeah, please. Yeah, okay, Jitendra. So why are women more vulnerable to the impact of natural disasters? What are natural disasters? Earthquakes, volcanoes, tsunamis, floods, droughts. What else? So analyze with adequate examples how women can play a more effective role in disaster risk management cycle. So basically, why are women vulnerable to the impact of disasters? There are many reasons. It is because you have to here in this question, you have to mention the reasons for vulnerability of women in general and then link them with the disasters. Because who can survive a disaster? Who is in a better position? For example, if there is a severe drought, then the availability of food is very less. In that context, women is more vulnerable because in households, women are not given ample food. Okay. That is a cultural issue. Similarly, during flood. So basically, the patriarchal mindset of the society, which is making women vulnerable in the society, is again making women vulnerable to the natural disasters also. So in that context, you have to answer this question, because health wise, financial wise, social status wise, education wise, all these social parameters are not the same for women and men in the patriarchal society of India. And hence, this makes them basically vulnerable to everything, including the natural disasters. Okay, so that is how you have to link this question and answer it. Yes. And then the second half of the question is about how women can play a more effective cycle in disaster management cycle, in disaster risk management. So how they can act in important way. If they are having proper awareness about the disaster risk management, they'll try to educate their kids about how the disasters have to be handled and how they have to be mitigated. Because as it said, if you educate a woman, you educate a family. So when women are educated, they ensure that the information is passed on across generations. And when they are made part of the decision making, they'll ensure that people are aware about their inputs, and these inputs will go a long way in disaster risk management. And women who are trained to handle the disasters will actually augment the capacity of disaster management. They'll augment the capacity of disaster management and will become a helping hands in trying to fight the disasters and the risk which are caused by the disasters. So in this context, the women become an important part of the disaster risk management cycle. And then you can conclude by saying that women who are 50% in our Indian society today are not empowered enough to handle the disasters, and they are the primary vulnerable class or the section of the society who are going to get impacted because of natural disasters. And when they are brought on board and educated and made the stakeholders in the disaster management, it goes a long way in handling the disasters. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Whose answer sheet I have not done? Yes. In last two classes, who have not found their answers seen, and then who have written today? Anyone who has written second answer? And Anil? You have to come out. Whose answer I have not done? So your answer I have not done. You written second answer. You have not done. Anyone who has written second answer? No one? Sumant, your question was done, na? Sriram, you there? Jitendra, you have written?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Jitendra, work on your handwriting here.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what you will do, but you are writing good content, but if you are having this handwriting, you will get very average marks. Believe me.
Yes,
You
sir.
can
I'll make sure that I'll
write
change it.
about Sendai framework also, yes. Okay, because if you have content, if you have good quality, presentation is the next important thing. If you are not working on the presentation, you might be genius. But if you are writing like a doctor prescription, the examiner will not have any patience to award you marks. He is looking for opportunity to eliminate you. Any opportunity he is trying to eliminate you. This is not an SSC exam, not an intermediate exam where you'll get 99.99999. No, this is a purely competitive exam and everyone will be, in fact, the examiner is trying to eliminate many people to arrive at few people. So please don't give him any opportunity to eliminate you. Okay? If your
Yes,
content
sir.
is,
I'll change it.
and if the presentation is not good, it becomes an opportunity to eliminate. I hope you are understanding, everyone, not only Jitendra.
Yes, sir.
Everyone. If for someone, if the content is not good, if you are writing like pearls beautifully, same point you are repeating 10 times, then also you are eliminated. Not that people with beautiful handwriting are going into UPSC, people with not so beautiful handwriting are coming out. No, there should be a balance. Good content, good framework, good examples, and good presentation. That makes a good answer. All you need to write is a good answer, not the best answer. I'm repeating this 100 times. Write good answers, not the best answers. There is nothing called best answer. If everyone is writing best answer, my open question is why only 120 out of 250 is the topper mark. So you have to write good answers, 15 to 16 good answers, remaining 3 or 4, irrespective of how much you prepare, you will write them in average way and come out. Okay, so that is how you have to handle. Okay, good points. Because I've been seeing your answer scripts time and again, I can understand what you have written, Jitendra. But for a new person to understand handwriting of yours is not easy.
Yes, sir. I'll make sure that I'm trying. We'll try some more.
Take
Yes.
time here. First you write slowly. Who is asking you to write so fast? Write slowly to get proper legit, what do you call it, so that we can read. These points you have written again one word. I have told you to avoid like that, right? You can
Yes,
expand
sir.
them into
Yes, sir.
proper sentences.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Sendai framework is talking about women empowerment. Your points are good, but this particular section is not acceptable where you have written only one line. Write proper sentences, make proper sentences. If you are not having time, then avoid this approach and draw a diagram and then label it. At least that is a much better thing. Even the diagram you have to explain proper points. Just don't draw a random diagram. Okay, the answer is good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Content is there, but the presentation you have to work a lot. Okay, your presentation is not at all up to the mark. Okay, Jitendra.
Yes, sir. I'll make sure.
Next, what are tsunami-genic zones? Give examples of the zones in the vicinity of Indian coastal region. Examine the preparedness level of India to minimize the impact of tsunamis. So an exclusive question on tsunami. Please give the framework. Yeah. What are tsunami-genic zones? Basically, those zones which are extremely prone to tsunamis, okay, are the tsunami-genic zones. So what are those zones within the vicinity of India? The zones which are prone to tsunamis and at the boundary plates of the subduction zones are the tsunami-genic zones. What are the important tsunami-genic zones in the where the tsunamis originate? Sorry, where the tsunamis originate, not which are prone to tsunamis. Tsunami-genic zones are where the zones originate, like how the earthquake originates. The tsunami-genic zones are where the tsunamis originate. So where are the two important places which are tsunami-genic zones in the Indian coastal area? One is the Andaman Nicobar and the Indonesia region belt. Okay, one tsunami-genic zone is the Andaman Nicobar and the Indonesia belt. Yes. So what is the other tsunami-genic zone? Within the vicinity, which is close to the Indian Ocean. So the question is, one is the Andaman and Nicobar and the Indonesian belt. The second is called the Makran zone. The second is called the Makran zone, which is near to the Arabian Sea, which is near to the Arabian Sea. So on the eastern side, in the Bay of Bengal, it is the Andaman Nicobar and the Sumatra region of the Indonesia. Here it is the Makran zone in the Arabian Sea. So for these kind of questions, better draw the Indian map and show these particular zones, the subduction zones which create tsunamis, or you need to show them. So if you draw an Indian map, small Indian map, and show these zones, it will be very useful. And then examine the preparedness level of India to minimize the impact of tsunami. So here you can just, before writing, you can just give the example of 2004 tsunami, which caught India unprepared and made a lot of damage to our lives and property. So after that, what India has done? It has been part of the tsunami warning system. Global tsunami early warning system is based in Hyderabad. So from Hyderabad, any tsunamis which are originating in any of the Indian subcontinent waters, we can easily identify them beforehand and alert the places for probable impact of the tsunamis. And then the tsunami ready initiatives are in place. And post tsunami, India has come up with a proper disaster management force, which is called NDRF, National Disaster Responsive Force. And under the authority called NDMA, National Disaster Management Authority, India is the only country to have an exclusive disaster management force. So that is the preparedness of India. So disasters, we have disaster management forces, especially against severe natural disasters like tsunamis. And post 2004, Indian Coastal Guard has become more alert in ensuring, that wherever these issues, tsunami is a probable thing, they are already alerting the fishermen, including the local administration, and ensuring that they are all moved out of those areas beforehand to reduce the impact of loss of lives. Okay. These are the, and then India has a proper coastal regulation guidelines which ensure that haphazard constructions will not happen close to the risk level, so that when the waters are high, the risk to the property and lives is minimized to the great extent. And also India has launched the Coalition to Disaster and Resilience Infrastructure. Basically, it is called CDRI. So that is also launched by India. So all these are important preparedness initiatives of India, including the alerting of the local civil administration. And then we can conclude saying that after 2004, India had come a long way in getting prepared for tsunami. And even if there is any disaster of that kind, India is in a very good position today to handle such particular instances or incidents. Clear? Now, who has written the third question? Third question, who has written? Soumya. Okay. The zones which generate tsunamis. Yes, good. This is what I was saying. Draw a small map and explain the tsunami genic zones. Okay, genic zones means where the genesis happens. The birth of tsunamis take place. Okay. But you have not labeled the diagram. Soumya, you have to label the diagram. You have to write about the bodies which are actually tracking tsunami under the INCOIS that you have to write, and the international protocol, the Indian Coastal Guard role, the role of local administration. Okay, Soumya. Points are very generic, ma. What you have written for preparedness of tsunami are very generic. Make more, that's what I told you, right? In disaster management, your jargon in writing the answer should also be in the language of disaster management only. Don't make very generic statements or generic answers. Okay. Fine. See the last question of the day. A new disease in any part of the world is a global threat. In the context of zoonosis and emerging infectious diseases, analyze the risks for India, also identify the structures in place and measures required to combat the risks. Again, a very pertinent question in view of COVID and the present monkeypox. So just see this question and give the framework. Yeah. New diseases emerging in any part of the world is a global threat. So very justified statement. Example, COVID-19 and the recent monkeypox. Monkeypox is a new thing which now everyone is scared. It has been declared as a health concern by WHO. Now Indians also, there are in India also there are some cases which are coming up. So yes, it's a true statement. So you can start introduction by giving the examples of the most recent COVID and monkeypox. If you want, you can give Ebola or such kind also. In the context of zoonosis, what are zoonosis? What is a zoonotic disease? Basically, zoonotic disease is the one which spreads from animal to the man. Okay, and emerging infectious diseases. Analyze the risks for India. Also identify the structures in place and measures required to combat the risk. So the three parts of the question is risk. What are the context? The zoonotic diseases just explained. Risks, first is the risks, and then structures in place and measures required. So three side headings. The first side heading is the risk for India, structures in place, and measures required. So the obvious thing is you can write something about the zoonotic diseases. Okay, so you can say that the zoonotic diseases are the ones which spread from animal to man. Okay, it has become very, previously this was not the case. Zoonotic diseases were rare, but now the zoonotic diseases are more popular and more widespread because of the close interaction of man and animal in daily quarters, day-to-day basis. So what are the risks for India? Zoonotic diseases are generally highly infectious, and India being highly populous country, the transmission rate will be very high. We have seen that in COVID, how the transmission was extremely high when the second wave was there. And then risk for India. What is another risk? There are many foreigners who are visiting India and many NRIs who are flowing into India and going out of India. So there is a risk of them bringing these diseases to India, like again COVID. Risk of diseases being brought to India. And next, what is the risk? In India, it can become an epidemic and also endemic. It can become an endemic disease in India and start to influence wide section of people. It can cause a lot of deaths. You can mention the example of second wave of COVID. And the preparedness of India itself is a major risk. To what extent India can get prepared? Yes, poor health infrastructure is a major risk. Lack of public health infrastructure is a risk. And lack of awareness regarding the safety protocols during such infectious disease getting transmitted is also a risk. And then the risk is impact on the economy and the development of India. Because you can give the example of lockdown, loss of employment and livelihood, and a probable recession. These are the risks. So what are the structures in place? Next side heading is structures in place. So what are the structures in place as on today? Then you can say post-COVID, India has learned a lot and there are certain structures in place. Yes, INSECOG for genome sequencing to understand the how the mutation of the virus is happening. There is a committee called INSECOG Genome Sequencing Committee. They are continuously trying to understand the various variants of the mutating virus, the so-called B12, B11, the names which we are giving are being studied by them. The virus is being tested and studied by them as to how it is getting mutated. So these are the structure. And one more structure is the vaccinations. Rapid productions of vaccination is also a structure in place to combat these particular zoonotic diseases. What are the other structures in place? INSECOG, INSSCOG. Sumant has written in the top, you can see INSECOG. Okay. And then what are the other structures in place? So other structures are immediate administration of vaccinations. Okay. Immediate administration of vaccination, so that today, because of the second dose and the booster dose, though COVID is still there in India, the intensity of COVID has come down. So that is a structure in place, administering the vaccinations and production of vaccinations. And then there is already Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, who are aggressively creating public awareness in trying to contain the transmission of the disease. So these are the structures in place, and special wards for isolating people within the government hospitals. Even for monkeypox, you have seen that there are special wards now. So all these are the structures in place. Now, what are the measures to be required to combat these diseases? One is to have proper interface and interaction between animals and humans. You can say we have to avoid open markets where the meat is sold. The popular example is the Wuhan market. Worst market where everything, the meat is sold in open. So banning the open sale of meat, through which there is a probability of high spread of zoonotic diseases. Maintaining proper protocols once the disease is identified. If someone says wear a mask, you have to wear a mask. So maintaining proper protocols. What else can be the way? What are the other ways? Quick information dissemination, and then generating awareness among the public. Okay, and we have discussed the importance of maintaining hygiene in the markets, sanitation in the public places like the public urinals, having global coordination to understand the spread of the diseases and its patterns. Yes, building up the public health infrastructure, having or the growing interaction between human and animals. The way forward is to have proper data about these particular diseases by coordinating with the global agencies and improving the infrastructure and the public health systems in India. Yeah, vaccination of pets, good. This is also important. Treatment to animals should be there. Okay, so all these are important points. So who has written the last answer? One Health approach. Okay, Sumant, yes. One Health approach also is a good, you can put it in your conclusion. Anyone who has written the fourth? No one? You have written too much of introduction about zoonotic diseases. You can just write one or two lines. That's all. First two lines is enough. What are the different pathogens, bacterial, viral, parasitic? This much is not required. Don't waste your space. It is only 150 words. Anil, directly come to the core demand of the question. You have to write three core demands: risks, then structures in place, and then measures. If you write more about zoonosis, you are not a zoology student, right? Okay, poverty, fine. See, you have not written the structures and then measures. Where is the structures part? You missed it because you spend more time on the introduction. This particular 3-4 lines is not at all required. Are they asking you how the zoonotic diseases are spreading? If you want to write that, you can write in the Indian context also. Okay, you have written measures. Then what about the risks? You have written risks. What about the structures? Risks also you have not addressed all the points. The points which we discussed, try to incorporate them. Okay, you have to write about the structures in place and then measures to be taken. Measures are good. You can write about the international cooperation, international coordination, having more information systems, coordination between various ministries, coordination with the local administration. All these are the measures to be taken. You have written way forward in a point way, then where is the conclusion? Way forward, then conclusion, where is the conclusion? So I hope you are understanding, Anil, what was wrong with your approach. Content wise, it's okay. I could say average, but then presentation wise, maybe below average to average. Okay. So work on your content. Now that we are entering into the third month of our answer writing, from now my feedbacks will be very candid. Okay. It is not that I have to hurt you or I have to say something because I'm saying no. If they are good, I'll say good. If they are not good, I'll say not good. Because no point in beating around the bush. Because whatever we are doing should benefit you. So be ready for taking these kind of feedbacks. Nothing personal. Okay. Not that I like X, I don't like Y, nothing. All of them who are writing answers regularly are equal. But then I am going to give candid feedback, because first 2 months I was very liberal with the feedback, as I thought, these people are writing, so let them write. Then, first, before only if I drop very, comments which are not so pleasing to you, you may stop writing. So now we are tuned to writing. So whatever I'm saying is only to benefit you. So nothing to personally insult you in front of your friends. Don't feel like that. If you have that concern, you can message me. I'll stop giving the candid feedback. But then feedback to an individual is a feedback to everyone. Please remember that. If I'm giving feedback to Jitender or Anil or Soumya or Aditya or anyone or Sumant, it's a feedback to everyone. Okay, because you might be having similar issues in your paper or your content. Okay, so it's nothing that when I'm saying that your presentation is not good, your content is not good, so you don't feel overconfident that, yeah, sir is saying that his content is not good, so I am supreme. Nothing like that. Okay, so I hope you take it in a positive way. If you have issues, let me know. I'll again, give that cool and comfortable feedback, but then that will not help you go anywhere. You will be just swimming in a small swimming pool and think that you are a champion. If you have to swim in the ocean, you have to first enter the ocean. 5 feet swimming pool, you are just hitting your hands and legs and think that you are a swimmer. It will not take you anywhere. You will just have fun for some time and come out. But if you want to experience swimming, you should do it in a proper way. Is the candid feedback preferred by you guys or not? Just let me know. If it is no, then I'll stop. Not at all an issue. If it is a yes, then let's go, because it will benefit you. Okay, so I'm just saying, don't take it personally. It is not against you, because we are doing this entire exercise for you guys. So not that we want to pain you, but out of this pain only you will gain. Okay, so let's start implementing the feedback in a very positive and aggressive way, and let's all take our answers to the next level. Okay, I can already see, I have already told this to Ramana sir also over our calls. In last 2 months, being very honest with you guys, I have seen visible difference in the quality of your answers. Visible difference. So, and I told you a number of times, it's a slow and steady process. So there is definitely that increase or increment which has happened. It will keep happening as you write answers. It is bound to happen sooner than later. Once you reach that level of writing good answers, then we will try to go to the fineness of the answers, like how to improve the presentation, what example to give, where to draw the map, how to use the diagram. These are the value additions. But first we have to come to that stage where you will be called a professional swimmer. Then you have to go to the competition, right? So don't worry, it will happen. Just keep doing it day in and day out. Okay, so we'll do that. We are here to help you. Don't worry. Good night.